when it came to Paul's diagnosis, didn't really know much about it, and it came completely out of the blue because he didn't have any symptoms of liver failure or liver disease or anything that would have pointed them to even look at his liver. It's only because he'd had the Whipple and he was having the scans post Whipple surgery, that it was seen on the scans. So it was completely out of the blue. They weren't really sure in the beginning what it was, and the HPB consultant was quite happy to just leave it, saying, well, if you give 10 different radiologists a scan, they'll all come up with a different result. It was only Paul's neuroendocrine consultant pushing for further investigations that they realised that's what it was. We never really had much information. That's really hard, to not have that information and to, in a way, just be left to find that out yourself. Been together a long time, and we've experienced a lot together as husband and wife, and then it's very odd then finding yourself almost as a nurse. I think for me, my primary goal was to just look after him and just to do what needed doing to help him recover. In a way, I did feel like a nurse, and we sort of like lost that husband-wife relationship for a while. The thing is, we love being together. We're just making each other laugh and spending time together. So we've got that back now. It's hard being the caregiver, and I don't want this to come out wrong, but people are always concerned about the patient, which is lovely, and that's absolutely what is needed. But you see people and it's always like, oh, how's Paul, how's how did this go and how did that go, and very few people ask you how you are. I know that sounds really selfish. It's actually really hard to open up sometimes to people about how you're feeling. I think that's actually really important. You can't carry it around inside. That's one thing that we've learned, is to talk about how we're feeling and what we're worried about, and just be honest with each other, and also be honest with other people. If you don't look after yourself, you can't look after them. And I think that's really important, to give yourself time and give yourself rest, and to enable you to do what you need to do. So I think if you can find something that you enjoy doing, or even whether it's, something creative like painting or knitting or something, or baking. I love baking, but I think in a way that I feel in control in the kitchen, and if I'm following a recipe, I know that I'll put this in and put that in and mix it all up and put it in the oven, and this is what comes out. It's a process that I've got control over. When you're feeling very out of control in maybe other parts of your life, I think that's the thing. It's like you do need to just be kind to yourself and not feel guilty about it. I think when you're going through it, you go through it because you have to. You have to be there to ask the questions, to take the notes, to find out the information, to speak to the medical team while they're there. Just keep pushing, keep asking. And I know that there are times, and doctors and nurses have said this before, that if we hadn't pushed for information, or if we hadn't pushed for further tests, to be honest, at the time, the outcome would have been completely different. One thing I do want to say to caregivers and patients is that it doesn't necessarily have to be the death sentence that cancer is thought to be. The liver is remarkable, because when we said to people, well, Paul's had 2/3 of his liver cut out, but it's grown back. And, they're absolutely astonished. I never mean to be rude about doctors or surgeons or nurses or what have you, but I think the biggest message I could give them is just like, please Please look at us as people. We're people, not bodies. The patient and the patient's family. Treat them as other human beings, and or treat them as how they would want to be treated, to be honest, how they would want their family member or themselves to be treated.